Hi Taurus, how's it going? I hope you're doing awesome. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a general reading, so just take what resonates and leave the rest. Um, the cards that came out for you are the Temperance card reversed, clarified by the Six of Cups, the Ace of Swords, clarified with the Sun, the Hierophant, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles reversed, and then the Five of Wands reversed. Most of these cards just jumped out while I was shuffling, so let's see. Temperance, Sagittarius energy suggests that you're in a phase of imbalance or impatience during this cycle, this time. So maybe you're dealing with situations where things feel off center, like mixing the wrong energies or rushing a natural process, or maybe struggling to find harmony between desire and restraint. Emotionally, it can point to irritability or overindulgence, or swinging between extremes instead of steady ground. So, and for you, Taurus, especially someone who prefers stability, this card reversed is all about discomfort with unpredictability. So you might be trying to force alignment instead of letting timing and flow settle naturally. Something's out of sync. And the current lesson is about rebalancing. Spirit is saying, slow down, recalibrate your priorities, restore moderation before moving forward again. And the clarifier was the Six of Cups. So this points to imbalance in the present, which is being tied to the past. So at this time, Taurus, it suggests the out of sync feeling isn't random. It's being stirred by old emotional patterns or memories or unresolved relationships. So something from the past, could be a person, a habit, a comfort zone, is still influencing your current choices. And it may be pulling you away from present balance. The Temperance reversed and the Six of Cups together shows nostalgia or emotional regression. You're going back to what feels familiar, even if it no longer fits. Instead of integrating lessons, there's a tendency to slip backward or repeat cycles. So the message so far, what Spirit is saying is that healing requires separating true emotional nourishment from sentimental attachment. So what feels comforting isn't necessarily what's balanced for you now. And then the Ace of Swords and the Sun cards, they shift the reading in a much clearer direction after the earlier imbalance. These two cards are telling you that a breakthrough moment is coming. And again, I just pulled a daily card, and the card that came out is the card that came out was Heat, and they talked about possible breakthrough, if you want to look at it. The Ace of Swords is a card about mental clarity, truth, and a decisive realization. So this can be a moment where confusion cuts away and you're seeing a situation for what it really is, not what nostalgia or habit made it seem like. And then the sun confirms positive clarity. The sun is all about success, relief, openness, and emotional lightness. And it can suggest that once the truth is acknowledged, then things begin to feel more simpler or more aligned again, more warmer. So you're moving from confusion and old emotional patterns into a sharp truth or into a decision that needs to that leads to genuine clarity, joy, and renewed confidence. It doesn't erase the earlier imbalance, it resolves it by illuminating it. And then your next message is the Hierophant as your foundation message. And this card speaks to structure, tradition, belief systems, and spiritual or moral guidance. So it can suggest that you're rooted in learned values, habits, teachings, cultural expectations, or long-standing beliefs about what is right, or stable, or acceptable. This is the baseline energy. Everything else is, this is the baseline energy, everything else in the spread builds on. So maybe you're relying heavily on old frameworks. Maybe you're doing things the way they've always been done. Maybe you're staying loyal to past conditioning, or you're holding on to familiar structures, even when they no longer fit. Okay? In a positive sense, it's also your strength, consistency, commitment, spiritual grounding. But in this reading, it hints that the current imbalance may come from being too rigidly attached to how things should be, rather than adapting to what's actually happening now. So your foundation message is your base is tradition and established belief, but the lesson right now is knowing when to evolve beyond it without losing your core stability. So the Knight of Cups is a card that came out. This is what you can look forward to. Okay, Taurus, the Knight of Cups is a message, and it's about what you can look forward to, and it points to an incoming shift in emotional energy, something softer, more expressive, more romantically or creatively inspired. It suggests movement from inner processing into external emotional flow. So you may receive a romantic message or an invitation or a gesture, or someone is going to approach you with genuine feelings or softer energy. It could be a creative opportunity or an inspiration that returns. Or you may experience a personal shift toward expressing your emotions more openly instead of holding them in. It doesn't mean something dramatic. It's more about emotional sincerity re-entering the picture after a period of imbalance and reflection. So once clarity and joy are integrated, you become more receptive to heartfelt connections again, either with someone else or with your own emotional life. The next card that jumped out is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. And this adds a cautionary note to the softer emotional flow of the Knight of Cups. So this can point to feeling temporarily off balance in your practical life with regards to your energy or your money or your self-care or your home stability. These may feel neglected or stretched. There's a sense of giving too much outwardly, either emotionally or materially, while not feeling fully grounded or nourished in return. There may be some tension between emotional openness and romantic idealism and practical stability or self-worth. So it means you're overextending for others, either emotionally or materially, or you're losing touch with your routines or grounding or your self-care. Or maybe you're experiencing insecurity around stability or money or being enough on your own. Or you're neglecting physical or emotional needs while processing deeper feelings. So all of this is saying that emotional currents from the past are affecting your present day balance and practical stability. Slow the emotional momentum just enough to check in with your foundation, your routines, your body, your resources, and what actually keeps you steady. It's not a negative outcome, it's a grounding reminder before things move forward again. And then the next card is the Five of Wands reversed, and this card suggests the conflict in your earlier reading spread is starting to ease. After the emotional waves of the Knight of Cups and the instability of the Queen of Pentacles reversed, the Five of Wands reversed points to a de-escalation of tension, either internally or externally. Internally, it'd be less mental, less emotional chaos, or externally, there's less arguing or competition or friction with others. So maybe you're stepping away from drama or petty conflict, or you're choosing peace over proving a point, or you're exhausted with tension leading to withdrawal or avoidance. You're just tired of it. Or You're realizing that the struggle isn't worth continuing. Where there was imbalance and friction, now there's an attempt to restore calm, but possibly by disengaging rather than fully resolving everything. This is a sign of calming energy returning, but it could also be a warning. There may also be a caution here, because it can also mean that things are being avoided instead of fully addressed. So you're moving out of conflict, but the next step is making sure peace comes from clarity, not just stepping back from discomfort. Okay? You're releasing past emotional imbalance, you're finding clarity, and you're moving toward calmer, more stable, emotional, and practical alignment. So that is your message for today. Thank you, Taurus, for letting me channel those messages. I'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye.